Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Welcome to another video, and today we are going to review this fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra called as Porto Neroli. Okay, now this we'll talk about its performance, scent profile, projection, and how good is this as a summer fragrance. So all about it on this particular video, right? So let's get started. So Porto Neroli by Maison Alhambra comes in a box like this, which is like this, blue or greenish kind of a box, which is a very beautiful presentation. Okay, it opens up like this to place the bottle as such, and this is a parcel that I got from Exclusive Scents quite some time back, and this is how the bottle looks, which is very nice. I kind of really like the way the bottle is done. Okay, I'm sure there is some kind of legal lawsuit that Maison Alhambra is facing from Tom Ford for copying their bottles, but no doubt they have done a really good job as such, and these look like a good collection item as well, so that way the bottles are really nice. And of course, when you talk about the sprayer, okay, let's do a couple of sprays. So sprays very nicely, and I have always told you that Maison Alhambra bottles sprayers are really good, right? So this is the Porto Neroli, right? So obviously, since I mentioned that Tom Ford has kind of got a lawsuit against them, which is basically a copy or an alt of Tom Ford's fragrance called as Neroli Portofino. Okay, so this is an alt of the Neroli Portofino from the house of Tom Ford, and that's why the bottle looks so exactly alike to what Tom Ford's fragrance is. Right now, let's talk about the fragrance itself and talk about the scent profile of this particular fragrance. Now, when you put this on, you kind of get a nice spicy vibe. You get some bitter elements on this particular fragrance when you open it up, and you get a nice freshness from from citrus elements. You will bit of those floral elements at the background, a little bit of white floral elements, and then you also have some green elements at the back that's playing up very nicely as well. And then you get a little bit of the ambriness, right? So that's predominantly the scent profile is what you get. But if you look at the notes of this particular fragrance, this has got, I think, orange blossom, it's got orange itself, mandarin orange, and then it's got lavender, it's got sea salt, it's got a little bit of the jasmine, and of course it's got neroli, right? So when you think about these elements, you are basically looking at a lot of bitter elements. If you look at neroli is a bitter element, orange blossom is a bitter element, you also have orange itself, which has also got a little bit of that bitter element, right? So that is one side, but the orange also brings in a lot of citrusy element, and then you have white florals which bring in that freshness, that light floral hints to this particular fragrance. And then of course you have sea salt, which brings that aquatic, marine kind of a vibe that you want. And then of course you have amber, which brings the ambriness onto a fragrance, right? Now when you think about all of this as a whole bundle, what you kind of get is a very linear type of a fragrance which has got a good amount of spice element, which got a little bit of that bitter element, but a nice freshness as such. Okay, so this is very nice as a fragrance to wear in summers, because that neroli and the citrus element and the orange blossom kind of open up very nice, and in summers you will absolutely enjoy this type of fragrance. Now you get about 1.5 to 2 feet of projection, I would say, because this is a very soft scent as such. So that also means that it doesn't last very long, right? So the projection itself, I would say, is about 30-40 minutes at maximum. Then it starts to go down. Now, while this is a good scent profile and there is no alcohol, plus it smells very nice, okay, may not be as nice as the Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino, but pretty close in terms of how an alt is, of the scent profile of the alt is. Maison Alhambra's job is pretty well done, but the part that it lacks behind is the performance on this particular fragrance. You get about 3 hours to 4 hours, I would say. Maybe on apparel you can go as much as 5 hours, but that is also very close in terms of the skin, right? But between 3 to 4 hours is what you will get, which is not bad considering the type of fragrance this is, because I think a lot of the citrus fragrances very much do not do a lot of lasting, right? And most of you know that fresh fragrances do not really last a long, because most of the notes that are there on these fragrances are light notes which kind of go off very soon. So you get about 3 to 4 hours time, so you will have to respray, of course, of this. You can carry a decant of it, and that is something that you will be able to do, because that's how this particular fragrance will kind of help you out. Okay, but is this a good summer fragrance? Absolutely yes. Now when you consider fragrance like Kaf, or when you consider fragrance like Al Dirgam, which are also got white floral green hints, they are slightly sweet, okay, but this particular fragrance is not sweet, so it's got that spiciness which has got that amber fruitiness and the bitter elements make this particular fragrance a more masculine type of a fragrance than a sweet floral type of a fragrance, right? So this is pretty good for summer. Okay, now you can kind of get this for about, I think, about 1250 to 1350 rupees easily, from the online sellers, and so that way it's a good summer fragrance to add to your collection of, all the fragrances that you want to try for summer. And yes, so there is two other fragrances in the market as well. I think Watania also has got a fragrance which is called Lazuli, I think, which is an alt of Neroli Portofino. So even that has got performance issues, so that also kind of lasts only for about 30-40 minutes and kind of disappears after that. I also have a sample that I tested for this against Musna's Neroli Portofino as well. Now that has a little bit more of a projection, but that also kind of lasts around the same 3-4 hours category. So all the fragrances all the alts that are there of Neroli Portofino kind of last only 3-4 hours time. So performance is just about the same on any of the ones that I've tried so far. So don't get disappointed because of the performance. I think the scent profile of the fragrance itself is such that it only kind of lasts for lesser duration. Now on the other end, we also want to kind of let you know, very soon we are going to come up with decanting option. Okay, so all of the fragrances that I would generally review, which are partials like this or the brand new ones that I get, I would generally sell off the partials off, or I would sell off the fragrance after I've reviewed. What we are going to do now is to get into a decanting mode. So all the fragrances that we have will be decanting, and we will be getting them at very good prices, but also we'll have a very unique element to bring the decant options to you, which we will know in some days time. So stay tuned for that, right? But otherwise, if you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe and share. You will get more summer fragrances this year, and a lot of that happening, or top 10 Middle Eastern fragrances coming soon as well. So stay tuned for all of that. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like and share. You're watching The Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Until another time, take care. Bye now.